start the recording anyway. So I'm going to try to cover as much as I can today, and we'll just pray that Thursday will not have a lag like today. That's the only thing I can pray. All right, so tell me when you see the problem up. It's f prime of x is equal to 3x minus 6x plus 6 times e to the x plus e to the x times 6x minus 6. Do y'all see it yet?
Yes.
Okay. Now I need to distribute this e to the x and distribute this e to the x. And that's going to be f prime of x is equal to 3x squared e to the x minus 6x e to the x plus 6 e to the x. And then distribute, since I'm putting e to the x's last, I'm going to keep doing that, plus 6x e to the x minus 6 e to the x. And what happens after you distribute those e to the x's? What usually happens after you use the distributive law? Something is going to what? Combine or cancel out. And what cancels? Well, that's 6e to the x. That cancels. And 6xe to the x cancels. And you're left with f prime of x is equal to 3x squared e to the x. That's a good test question.
It just started showing you like writing the problem because you went and uploaded the video and then came back to the problem.
No. So you're just now seeing that the problem?
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell me when it gets down to the end of the problem. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I wish I wrote down where these problems came from. There's 2 or 3 that came this morning, and I did them this morning. And I didn't write down the... You got it? Do you got 3x squared e to the x? Or is it still working?
It's still working. You just canceled out the 6ex.
Okay. Good gosh. I wonder if I could pause this. I can't pause uploading. Oh well. Okay, well, let me know when it gets to 3x squared e to the x.
That's where it's at. And you underlined the bottom. Is that all of it?
Yeah, that's it. All right, so now let me move that one out of the way. And let me give you another one. Another good test question. let's do the second derivative, W, is equal to, these things are so small, 6z squared e to the z. W is equal to 6z squared e to the z. And they want you to find W double prime. W double prime. So they want you to find not only the first derivative, but the second derivative of 6z to the second power e to the z. So go ahead and get started using the product rule. So W prime, I'm going to pull that 6 out, and I'm going to do W prime is equal to 6 parentheses z squared e to the z, because I'm going to do the product rule with those two
Gmail.
I don't know why. The auto, there. I'm just going to pull that 6 out, and I'm just going to do the product rule with z squared e to the z. So W prime is equal to 6 first times the derivative of the second. Where's my blue marker? Derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first and take the derivatives, and that's going to leave you with W prime is equal to 6 z squared, and I'm going to go ahead and take the derivative of e to the z. The derivative of e to the z is e to the z plus e to the z. And what is the derivative of z squared? 2z, Hubert. That's right, class. Okay, now you can leave the 6 out. Now you got to do the product rule twice. So I'm going to let y'all do the product rule twice, and y'all work it out. So you're going to take z squared first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first plus the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So go ahead and do that. You got to do it twice. And I'm going to leave the 6 out front because I don't want to have to fool with that. Tell me where you're at on the picture. Are you at
We
6?
see the 6, the bracket, the z squared e z, and that's it.
Lord.
You have a work
Okay,
email.
you got two more lines to go.
Yeah.
Okay, when it gets to that 4th line, now you're ready to take the second derivative. So I'm going to let y'all work on it. I'm gonna go to YouTube. I can't. Between the next problem, I'm turn the YouTube off. That might help. I don't know. Hopefully, it won't be this way Thursday. Hello?
Sorry, that's the work
That's all
phone.
right. All right, did you get to the fourth line yet? Okay, so it got to the fourth line.
Yeah,
All
it
right, I'm gonna go
says
ahead and set
W
up the
prime
fifth.
equals 6.
You got the fourth line?
Yes.
Okay. We'll keep going. Maybe that's the way we need to work it. Y'all work ahead of me, and I'll catch up to y'all. Dang old critical thinking. W double prime is equal to 6 first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Plus first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. That's e to the z, not e to the 7th, Hubert. Now I'm going to add 2 brackets because I still got to multiply that 6 by whatever I get. So y'all check, make sure y'all got at least what I got there. And I'm going to take the derivative now. W prime, double prime, is equal to 6, bracket, bracket, z squared, e to the z, plus e to the z. What's the derivative of z squared? 2z plus e to the z. What's the derivative of 2z? 2
2.
plus 2z times e to the z. Okay, your calculus is done. Now what is it? Algebra. Now I don't know what y'all can see, but I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the next line. So I'm going to put 6, bracket, bracket, and I'm going to get rid of that plus, so I'm going to write z squared e to the z plus e to the z 2z plus 2e to the z plus 2z e to the z. Okay, 2z e to the z. I'm going to do this in I'm going to use my peach. 2z e to the z, 2z e to the z, that's 4z e to the what? Z. And then the rest just fall down. Plus 2e to the z, and then z squared e to the z. And that 6 is still out front. So w double prime is equal to 6z squared e to the z plus 24 z e to the z plus 12 e to the z. Maybe that worked out a little bit better. Can you see the finished product, or is it still on like the third line?
You just started using the peach color.
Okay, well that's 3
Yeah.
lines up. That ain't too bad. I have a feeling when that video stops loading, I think that may be why it's computer's working double time. That's a good test question. Both of these problems we just did are good test questions. Tell me when you get to the bottom where I box it in so I can take it out. And y'all ask questions if you got them. I think these come from 2.2 or 2. I can't remember where they come from. But I'm fixing to get into the problems now that actually I've got them numbered. We at the box yet?
No. Oh wait, it just went to
Okay, you just got the box?
yes.
All right, I'm going to take this one up. Now I'm going to go to the email and pull up the questions that I've already done. Not already done, I printed out. I'm going to let y'all pull them up. Okay, so we're at 61% on my last class video, so that thing's going incredibly. So, all right. Ask my instructor. All right, the first question I got is, I'll pull it up for y'all and y'all can write it
Priority
down.
1 message coming in on secured channel.
I think that's the problem we just did. Okay, 2.1 45/12. 2.1 45/12. And here is the question, and you can write it down and hopefully get started on it. And then I'll write it down while y'all are working. And I'm still waiting. It's not only y'all have a lag, I have a lag too. There we go. Okay, mine just popped up. How long does it take from when mine popped up?
Go check the YouTube channel.
Okay, so it did it pretty. Okay, so write this down. This is a good test question because this is an algebra review. There's no calculus here. This is all algebra. Students looking for my last class video. Good gracious, give me time to get it up. All right, so y'all started working on it. Well, what do? Well, when you got one like this, you got to take the log of both sides. Now we went over this in 109, so y'all should know this. All right. So e to the negative 0.478t is equal to 4. Okay, I wrote it down. So let me switch over. Hopefully it won't take too long. There it is. So how long does it take after I say there it is? Still hadn't shown up yet?
It's showing the problem.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to take the log of both sides. Now, when you have an E, okay, remember, I'm going to go over here and refresh your memory. What is your two LOGs? Log base 10 and log base E. Log base 10 is LOG. What is log base E? Log base E is called the what? The natural log. So anytime you're dealing with E, what do you want to lean on? Do you want to lean on the LOG or the natural log? Do you want to deal with the LOG or the natural log when you're dealing with E?
The
natural log, yes. So I'm going to take the natural log of both sides because I'm dealing with E and it's an equation and I can't do anything else, but I can take the log of both sides. And since I'm dealing with E, I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. Okay, now what happens when you take the natural log of E? Does anybody know from their algebra? It cancels the E out. And the exponent drops down. Now somebody tell me how I'm going to solve this algebraic equation. Negative 0.478t is equal to the natural log of 4. How do I get t by itself? Divide by what? Negative 0.478. I need somebody to type this in because I don't have a calculator. Natural log of 4 divided by negative 0.478. Round to the nearest thousandth. So what do you get when you take the natural log of 4 and divide by negative 0.478? Somebody tell me what you get. To the nearest thousandth.
2.9.
10
Yeah, it's like 0, 0.
I'm sorry, what?
Negative 2.9002.
9002. So rounding to the nearest thousandth, it should be t is equal to negative 2.900. Of course, you don't need the 00, but that's a good test question. Why is that a good test question? Because that reviews your algebra. So you might need to go back to 109 last semester and review over that last section of solving logs. Tell me when you see the box around the negative 2.9. Yes, no, maybe.
It says T.
You got cut off, Billy. What?
It says T equals. That's where we're at. Now you're writing the 2.900.
And tell me when the box goes around it.
This box in.
Okay. So I'm going to take that one off. And move to the next question. I may have to take these. I may have to do something. I don't know. I may have to scan these and send them to everybody. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But, all right, that one's the same question. I'm not going to do that one over. All right, let's go with the next question. I'm going to make that small. And the next one is 2.1 53/14. 53/14. And this is an algebra question. If it ever comes up, somebody time it. When I say there it is, tell me how many seconds. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. No, wait a minute. I hadn't said there it is yet. There it is. How many seconds? Did it come up yet?
No.
Oh my God. And this ain't got anything to do with the Word document. This is just the internet. Find the domain of the logarithmic function and then graph the function. I don't care about graphing it. So natural log of -4 minus 3x in parentheses. Y'all ain't got it back yet? F
No.
of x is equal to natural log of -4x, -4 minus 3x in parentheses. Has it shown up yet?
It just did.
My gosh.
It took a minute and 4 seconds. That's the lag.
Yeah, there's something wrong. I just hope it ain't my fault. All right, y'all got it written down. Write it down. I'm going to go over to YouTube and see if that thing's finished yet. As soon as y'all get it written down. Now, like with anything, what do? You got to find out. You can't take the log of a negative number. So you got to set that negative 4 minus 3x to what? To 0, so you can see what happens, and then plot it on the number line and see what happens. So go ahead and set the negative 4 minus 3x equal to 0. I think that's what you did, Miss Billy. You just didn't use the number line. That's why you got the wrong answer. You got to use a number line when you're talking about radicals or natural logs or logs. You got to use the number line to see what the answers are in respect to 0. I'll show you.
I went and reworked it.
What?
Saw what I did wrong.
Say again?
I said I went and reworked it and saw what I did wrong.
Oh, okay.
I went and reworked it and I saw what I did wrong.
Okay. My video's at 81%. I don't think it's ever going to finish. Tell me when you see the Word document, I mean the document cam. I just pulled up the document cam.
You have a work email.
Does my Word document come up yet?
It just came up.
My gosh. Well, there wasn't this much lag yesterday. That's the only guarantee I can tell you. All right, so I'm going to set negative 4 minus 3x equal to 0. And then I'm going to say negative 3x is equal to 4. And divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, and I get 4/3. X is equal to negative 4/3. Draw my number line. Negative 4/3 is right here. 0 is right here. And that's negative 1 1/3, so I'm going to put a negative 2 right here. Now we know that negative 4/3 will give us a what? That will give us a 0. So I can take the log of 0. That's okay. So let's see what 0 gives us. So 0, negative 4, I'm going to put it up here. Negative 4 minus 3 times 0. 3 times 0 goes out, and that leaves a what? That leaves a negative. We can't have a negative. So negatives are on this side. We can't have this side. So let's check the left-hand side. What happens when you plug in a negative 2? Well, let's plug in a negative 2. Negative 4 minus 3 times a negative 2. Negative 4 plus 6 is a positive 2. So a negative 2 will give me a positive 2. So that means everything to the left of 0 will give me what? Positive numbers. So I want my domain to be positive numbers. So my domain is going to be from negative infinity to negative 4/3. So my domain is negative infinity to negative 4/3. Let me know when you see that boxed in. Tell me when you see that locked in. Oh wow, one of the teachers in the math department have found Edpuzzle. You can store up to 20 videos on Edpuzzle. I've been using YouTube for 6 years, and I have a cohort that's saying we need to use Edpuzzle. These people are doing everything in the world to. They won't ask me anything, and they're using everything besides what you're supposed to use. Know-it-alls.
You just boxed.
Okay, so that one's there. All right, so that's what you get for that answer. Now, since we are stalling and it's such a lag, I'm going to skip. We just did 3 or 4 2.1 problems, which is review of algebra. I'm going to skip and go to some 2.2s. So if you just bear with me. Here is a 2.2. Two 4711. I'm going to pull it up for you. All right, we're at 90% maybe of this video. Let me know if the lag gets better, because right now it's at 90%. It should get better here in the next couple of minutes. Okay, let me go back to... All right, here we go. 2.2. 2.2, number 47. Wait a minute. That's not right. There it is. 47/11. 47/11. All right, I just clicked on it. Tell me when it comes up. Well, I'll tell you when it comes up. And you tell me, hold on, and you tell me how fast it is, Mr. Miyagi. Hold on, I'm going to tell you when it comes up. I'm going to say, start the clock. When I say that, that means, oh Lord, now we got a connection was reset. What the heck is that supposed to mean? Let's try that again. I better go ahead and write it down just in case. This one says, oh well, I better let y'all write it down. As soon as it comes up, I'm going to tell you to start the clock.
All right. Jesus. I don't
you
have
got the corona. Get ready.
My parents hadn't let me left the house, so I haven't been out of the house in a week.
All right, start the clock.
All right.
And stop it when it comes up on your computer.
Coming in on secured channel.
Oh my God, it's taking that long?
Jeez, we're on a blue screen.
Yeah.
And don't you get that connection interrupted thing before you can get to it?
Yeah.
Is something wrong?
It stopped. I mean, I think we're at the problem now. It's 1 minute and 7 seconds.
You said the problem did come up?
It's showing
Yeah.
like a voting thing on the problem. I don't know if that's when you were talking about the connection thing or
It's showing a what?
the problem's up. It's up right now.
Okay. Well, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and copy it down. Company's total cost in millions of dollars is given by C of t is equal to 70 minus 40e to the negative t, where t is the time in years since startup date. And the cost is what you get output. The graph of C of t is shown to the right. Find each of the following. The marginal cost. I need you to write this down. Y'all are in business. If you want to find the marginal cost, that's find the first derivative. So you need to find the first derivative of C of t. So while y'all are working on that, I'm going to write it down. C of t is equal to 70 minus 40e to the negative t. And I'm going to let y'all, I think I might do this on this one. Let me know when you see my document cam small and on the right side of the question.
There it is.
Okay, so let's take the derivative. C prime of t is equal to 0 minus, okay, now I've got to take 40 e of t, that 40 comes out. Now what's the derivative of e to the negative t? Well, remember the chain rule. E to the t is e to the t, but that's not e to the t, that's e to the negative t. So that means you got a negative 1 up there. So that means it's e to the negative t, but what's the derivative of negative 1t? Negative 1. And that negative 1 changes the whole outcome of the problem. So C prime of t is equal to negative 40 times negative 1 times e to the negative t, and C prime of t is equal to 40 e to the negative t. Tell me when you see the double lines.
Okay.
Okay, so now what do you do to find B? Plug in 0, Hubert. So C prime of 0 means that I'm going to plug in 0 years, and that's going to be 40e to the negative 0, which is equal to 40e to the 0, and anything to the 0 power is 1. So your cost is going to be $40 million at 0 years. So we go to our handy dandy, because I think this asks several questions, A through B or D. So C of t is equal to 40e to the negative t. So that's 40e shift up to the negative t. And I got to bring it down. Check answer. Good job. And $40, 40 million per year, or for that first year. Now to type in 6. C says, what happens when you type in 6? Now C prime of 6. Let me pull it, my handy dandy. So now we're going to do C of 6. C prime of 6 is equal to 40e to the negative 6, which is equal to 40 over e to the 6th. I need y'all to tell me what 40 over e to the 6th is. So somebody tell me what 40 over e to the 6th is. Doesn't say round or anything, so I guess give me the nearest dollar.
This is 0.099.
Say it one more time.
0.099.
Which is 99 million or 99,000. It should come up to be 99,000. But since you're talking about millions, I don't know if it's going to be 99 or 99,000. Let me see. I'm going to type in 99,000. And that's because, yep, it's 99,000. All right, now, this is where you get back into the limits. Find the limit as C of t. Find the limit of C of t. Well, let's go back to the... Is the lag getting any better?
It just said that you got the 99,000. Like, you just typed it in and it's loading.
Okay. All right, I'm going to do the limit up here on the top right-hand side. C of t, right here. What if we was to say t goes to infinity? Then that would be 70 minus 40 e to the 1, e to the 2, e to the 3, e to the 4, e to the 5, e to the 6. And as e increases, that goes to 0. So 70 is D. $70 is D. Now do C prime of t when C prime of t, I'm going to pull it up. I'll do it right here. I'll do it in blue. C prime of t as limit as t approaches infinity would be 40e to the negative infinity, -1, -2, -3, -4, and anything that's going to be to the 0 power, that's going to go to 0. So 0 per year. And that's how you do that problem. I'll go back to I might have taken it off too early. There you go. I'm trying to do as many problems as I can. Let me check that. See, YouTube is at 90. Okay, YouTube is at 95. No, I think it's finished. So let's see if the lag gets better now, because the YouTube is finished. All right, so the next problem I got is 2.25/3. This is a good test question. This is a very good test question. I'll tell you when it comes up. Okay, it's up. Count how many seconds it takes for it to come up on your end.
It's up.
Okay, it's getting better. I'm going to do the videos after I finish classes. That's what's lagging. And it takes a while. You got to remember, MyLabs Plus is being used extra because all these teachers that don't use MyLabs Plus are now having to use MyLabs Plus. And that's not just in South Carolina, that's nationwide. So the internet is getting a little bit like I-85 at 5 o'clock. F of x is equal to x to the 8th minus 5e to the 9x. All right, this is simple sum and product. You just f prime of x. How is the Word document working? Is there much of a lag now?
It's showing f of x equals x to the 8th minus 5e to the 9x.
And
now you're right. Next part.
Okay, evidently the lag is getting better. All right, so the derivative of x to the 8th is 8x to the 7th minus, I'm going to pull that 5 out, and I'm just going to do the derivative of e to the 9x. Well, what's the derivative of e to the 9x? E to the 9x. But that 9 up there, what's the derivative of 9x? Times 9. Remember, it's chain rule. You got to take the derivative of what's inside, and that 9x, there's not parentheses there, but you got to treat it like it's got parentheses there. So now that's going to equal 8x to the 7th minus 45e to the 9x. Tell me when the double lines are drawn. No double lines yet?
Yes.
Y'all got to tell me if it's getting better. Y'all can't just be quiet. You got to tell me. Okay? And that's the answer. If you see the answers right there, x to the 7th minus 45, 9x. Oh, you didn't put the e to the 9x. That's why you got it wrong. E. Let's go with the e right there. And now hit check answer. Yay! That's a good test question. And I know my phone has went off, but since we've been lagging, I'm going to try to go right up to, what time's class over? 11 even?
Yeah. I think.
Okay, I got 6 minutes. All right, next question. Y'all let me know if the lag is better. All right, this is 2.266/13. This is one of those questions that this book loves to use. Okay, I want to tell you when it comes up. There it is. Okay, I guess the lag is still there.
It's up.
Huh? It's up?
Mm.
All right, so this one says, find an equation of the line. Now that find an equation of the line, that means that you got to do everything like in algebra. Okay, so find the equation of the line tangent to the graph 4e. So g of x is equal to 4e to the negative x. So the first thing I got to do is I got to take the derivative of that. So g prime of x is equal to, pull that 4 out, and what is the derivative of e to the negative x? Well, it's e to the negative x, but what's the derivative of negative 1x? Negative 1. So g prime of x is equal to negative 4e to the negative x. So that's the equation for the slope of the tangent line. So now I got to find the slope. So g prime of 0, because that's x, is equal to negative 4e to the negative 0. Negative 4 times 1 is equal to negative 4. So my slope at 0 at 4, 0 comma 4, is equal to negative 4. Therefore, I've got a slope equal to negative 4, and I got a point at 0 comma 4. So what am I going to use? Point, slope, what? Equation. Y minus 4, x of 1, y sub 1, is equal to negative 4 times x minus 0. Y minus 4 is equal to negative 4x. Negative 4 times 0 is 0. And y is equal to negative 4x plus what? 4. Tell me when you see the box.
Okay.
Okay, now I've got 3 minutes, and I want to go ahead and do this next problem because it is a good test question and it's good practice for y'all. So I'm going to pull this next problem up, and we're going to finish after this one. 2.2, 7/4. And I'll tell you when it's on my screen.
You bet.
Okay, it's on my screen.
It's
Okay.
there.
So this one says, what's different about this? Why am I wanting you to do this problem? F of x is equal to x to the 9th times e to the 8x. What rule is it? Product rule. You've got to use the product rule on this one. First times the derivative of the second. So x to the 9th times the derivative of e to the 8x plus the second times the derivative of the first. X to the 9th. I'm going to do a different color. I'm going to do, well, that green and that blue look alike. So I'm going to do orange for the derivative. The derivative of e to the 8x is e to the 8x. And remember, what's in those parentheses? What's the derivative of 8x? 8. Plus e to the 8x. And what's the derivative of x to the 9th? 9x to the 8th. So now let's condense everything. So I'm going to leave my e to the x's in front. No, I'm going to put my e to the x's last. So that's going to be 8 x to the 9th e to the 8x plus 9x to the 8th e to the 8x. Now they're going to want you to factor something out here. So we're going to factor out an x to the 8th. I'm going to factor out an x to the 8th and an e to the 8x. And that's going to leave me with 8x plus 9. Tell me when you see the box.
Okay.
So the only thing you did wrong on this one is, I don't know where you got the 2 from. That's your only error. I'm looking to see how many problems I got left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got like 8 problems left. If I feel like it, I might make another video and let y'all do them. But if I don't, we'll start on them Thursday. Okay? So, y'all feel good about yourself?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I might put another video up today. I don't know if I get to it or not. It'll be called whatever I call today's, and it'll be part 2. All right. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all Thursday, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The homework's due tonight.
Okay, I'll extend it.